Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! It is just after dusk this evening on this island, and the night sky is very beautiful. I was paying particular attention to it when I was coming home this evening, and I used to host a lot of late night talk shows on the radio, so I'd be over to my buddy's house filming the show, and by the time it was uploaded, driving home, it just presented a very peaceful feeling. It allowed you to clear your mind and think about what you were going to say the next night when you were on your show, when you put the headset on, and it was so fun doing that years ago. And it's just as much fun for me being here tonight with each and every one of you. I have never felt more honored to be in the presence of so many dedicated fans of Descendants of Zombies who love Descendants of Zombies with all of their heart, because even with how big this universe seems to be on times, I know I've been heard saying this many times over the years that I've hosted this show, no matter how big this universe seems to be on times, there's always that one girl that will forever love your video and will forever hit your subscribe button because she loves her favorite characters, Red, Chloe Charming, with all of her heart. And I've just wanted to be that one guy who was always going to be here for them to say something nice, because I know we've seen a fair share of criticism directed towards the cast members of both Descendants and Zombies, and if I was ever going to contribute anything to these franchises in a way of giving back to show my gratitude and my appreciation for how much these stars have meant to each and every one of you, it was going to have to be something nice in the way of a nice conversation that I looked forward to every night having with you guys. And over the years, I've had the honor of really creating thousands of videos about Descendants of Zombies, your favorite characters, and all these wonderful moments that brought you to the moment where you realized that you were a fan of Descendants of Zombies. I couldn't feel more honored at this point in my career to be a part of this niche and to have become a part of the soundtrack of Descendants of Zombies, because I really do believe that every content creator who revolves he or she's content around Descendants of Zombies should have this same approach. And many of them can't do that. Many of them can't sit down and talk about Descendants of Zombies like I've been able to do, because I perceive this as a gift and a chance. I perceive it as both of it, because I've always saw something special in somebody like Kylie Cantrell, how fearless the girl is, how undeniably strong she is, and how much she's dedicated her life to each and every one of you. I've always believed there is no room in any conversation that has any involvement with criticism, either constructive or just general criticism, whatever form of criticism we're talking about, directed towards Kylie Cantrell, because she's really dedicated her life to each and every one of you, and you guys really do mean that much to Kylie Cantrell. You can see it in her performances at the Worlds Collide Tour this past summer, making the summer of 2025 a summer that I will never ever forget, and you see it every single time she's ever a part of a project, or even when she simply steps onto the set of Descendants of Zombies. She is so excited for you guys to be a part of Descendants Vibe with Wonderland this coming summer, and I have never felt more honored to be here as the host of this show, because you guys have deserved a dedicated podcast and a dedicated host for a very long time. Because even when it comes to the director's chair of Descendants of Zombies, I feel as if it's been a revolving door. You know, years ago when they were creating characters for pro wrestling, because I had a lot to do with the pro wrestling industry for many years, the general manager position of Raw or SmackDown will be a revolving door, which meant every 3 to 4 weeks you'd have a new general manager. So as soon as you got used to somebody, they don't do it as often now, they would take that character out of the storyline just as fast as you could snap your fingers and reintroduce you to somebody else you may have never heard of or seen before in your life. And now you're getting used to these characters. So I think consistency is something that you guys have always wanted. You wanted somebody to be just as dedicated as you are with all of their heart to creating content for you, or dedicated to these franchises. Because forever, as much as we want to see Dove Cameron or Sophia Carson return to reprise their roles, they're always coming up with excuses as to why they can't, or presenting a reason as to why it just wouldn't feel right. The passing of Cameron Boyce, how if the original cast or the original directors or the original crew was never a part of it, it just wouldn't feel right to them in their heart. But you have this new cast, and I think a lot of people have taken something special away from it. They all refuse the opportunity to come back to reprise their roles. But when you talk about new stars of this new generation, like Kylie Cantrell, who is going through her power era, which is an exemplification of strength and fearlessness, that's something to have a profound amount of respect for. And this friendship between Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker, I love it with all of my heart. We saw the same thing happening for Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson and many Disney stars of the past. But I think that we've never seen it more apparent and more evident, brought to the forefront, than what we see with Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker. I know we've heard all these rumors since last year's success behind the Worlds Collide Tour, But I think we shouldn't really pay attention to that, because if we believe in this friendship and we trust in it with all of our hearts, I think pretty much these rumors can be deciphered for having been bogus. I've had a thing with, gossip, and I've had a thing with critics for forever. I've had issues with them, Perez Hilton, TMZ.com, Rotten Tomatoes, because if you're sitting down to write a column, the one thing you should do is really put your heart into that column and never be afraid to tell people how you really feel. But I'm not talking about criticism. I'm talking about presenting a chance to these stars that they've probably never been shown in their life, which comes with a great deal of gratitude and a profound amount of respect, which is what I've had with you guys for forever. I've developed this connection with each and every one of you because you guys have obviously taken something special away from Descendants of Zombies in each and every one of these videos, which makes these videos and this entire experience for me so worth it. Because I just never had the chance to share with you my passion for Disney, which eventually became Descendants of Zombies. I got to know Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker for the people they are. And if there was one character from Descendants who will forever be my favorite and hold that distinction within my heart, it's going to have to be Ruby. And why do you guys think that is? Because of how genuinely sweet Ruby Rose Turner is. I say this in every video because I hope Ruby will eventually see it and know there's a guy out there that forever appreciates her. Because the thing is, guys, she really demonstrated a lot. And she taught us a lot of valuable life lessons that we've taken away from Descendants with us every single time we may have ever watched it. If we watched it over 100 or even 1,000 times, we took away the value of appreciation for friendships that we make in our lifetime that kind of just happen for us without any logical explanation, or just how much further kindness can really take a person in this lifetime. I have often been quoted in saying on this show that Ruby made me a stronger person. She's inspired me to do a lot of things. Get back in the gym, doing push-ups every night to stay in shape, develop a fitness regime, because you see all these stars doing it and you can't help but feel inspired to, be strong yourself. And ultimately, these stars have given me something special to take away from their performances and their criteria, along with their heart and their dedication. And I can never seem to say thank you enough for all the love and support that they've shown you, and you guys have shown them in return. You guys have given me so much incentive to become a stronger person and to share my stories with each and every one of you every single night. Having the chance to sit in front of this camera every night has become the greatest honor of my life. Having the chance to record my story with each and every one of you has been an opportunity that I will never, ever forget. Because even with how many fans of Descendants of Zombies I had met, I know I still have my work cut out for me, because we still have a long way to go. Because this story is far from over. And if you've ever wanted to believe in something special, I think Descendants of Zombies has presented you with a profound opportunity to do just that. I've dealt with my own personal struggles in my own life. I dealt with a lot of bullying, a lot of criticism, because my YouTube channel first premiered in 1999, and that wasn't yesterday. My radio program actually premiered for the first time on August 15th, 1999, and my YouTube channel premiered several years after that in 2005. So I've been on YouTube creating videos for the better part of 20 years, that's 2 decades, and I've produced over 4,000 videos. And that's a lot of videos for everybody to take something special away from. No matter what the topic, there was always a chance for you to learn from the videos. There was always a time for you to appreciate something I may have been talking about for whatever niche, video games, TV shows, movies, because I was there to experience the Twilight generation and how popular people were feeling about vampires and werewolves at the time. I was there to experience the sci-fi generation, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer generation, the generation represented by the Power Rangers, Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place. I was there to experience every generation of, say, Disney and Nickelodeon. And I had the time of my life. I saw the personal struggles that people like Ariana Grande were dealing with, and now 15 years later I'm seeing the personal struggles and hearing about the personal struggles of people like Meg Donnelly. But how people have felt about them really is no reflection on who they are as people. And I think if we give them more of a chance, what we take away from our learning experience is a profound amount of respect for these stars and the incredible amount of resilience they show and strength they always possess. Because Meg Donnelly just recently started working out in the gym. She's deadlifting all the time to stay up to par with her demanding roles in Hollywood and dealing with the pressure. And she's ultimately became a stronger person because she's openly said that she's dealt with these battles and these personal struggles, but she's become a stronger person at the end of every conversation, at the end of every day. So I think as she continues to become a stronger person, we can draw incentive bend from that, draw our own form of inspiration. It doesn't mean that a critic has the right to draw a conclusion about why Meg Donnelly was denied the role of Supergirl and it was given to Millie Alcott, because I can tell you guys that every single time I go to a movie premiere and I see the premiere for the poster for Supergirl, I think about how Meg Donnelly wanted this role so bad, and I can't help but feel at a special place in my heart for Meg Donnelly wanting this role and having it taken away from her because the director and the writer thought that Millie Alcott could come through better. It came down to Meg Donnelly and Millie Alcott, and I'm seriously thinking about shutting myself out from the Supergirl movie this year, even with how excited I was, because initially I thought that Meg Donnelly may have secured the role, and ultimately I thought that she could have been a better portrayal of that girl, because I really do believe that she's possessing a tremendous amount of strength. She's become stronger, and it has everything to do with how much you guys have believed in her and how you've never ever quit on her. By the way, guys, thank you so much for loving Meg Donnelly, loving Freya Sky, and being there for them every step of the way. I can never seem to say thank you enough for how much these stars have meant to your hearts, how passionate you felt about collecting the Descendants of Zombies merch that comes with being a fan of them, because Freya Sky is selling more merch than she's perhaps ever been given credit for and being taken far more seriously and reviewed more seriously than ever before. Now, I know that comes with its fair share of criticism because, as I've said many times here on this show, everybody is a critic. And no matter how much of a big of a dream you have, there's always going to be somebody who's going to try to take that dream away from you. Like, I was forever passionate about collecting Disney stuffies, and a lot of people thought I was a loser. A lot of people thought I was a loser for hosting a radio show, which eventually became a YouTube channel, for having a passion in video games, which I've collected hundreds, if never thousands. But you should never be afraid to let the world know how you truly feel, because you only ever have a limited number of times to make opportunities count and to stand up for what you believe in. And if these stars are who and what you believe in, then I shall create content about them for the rest of my life. I will be a guiding light for them to ensure their legacies go down in history for having been some of the greatest of all time, because I hope that 20 years from now, that's a better part of 2 decades, we can still have these conversations, and we really can. Because even with how many millions of people have fallen in love with these franchises, there are still millions of people who just want to give it a chance, who have yet to discover the power of Descendants of Zombies. So let's give them a reason to believe in Descendants of Zombies with all their heart, to pick a favorite character, to have a favorite moment, to be their guiding light. Because how you guys make up the algorithm has never been a recommendation system like YouTube recommends it for having been. What the YouTube recommendation system is each and every one of you, and how you felt about Descendants of Zombies. That's what makes this so special for me, being the creator behind all of these videos, is that I can resonate with more people than I've perhaps ever been given credit for. How I can tell this story about Descendants of Zombies far differently from every other content creator that you guys have watched on YouTube. And that's what makes these videos so fun for me. It's just the hope that I've had, the one and only ever hope that I've ever had, that I'm some way or somehow going to resonate with you, because it's all about how you tell a story. And I think that a lot of people may have felt differently about a story like, say, Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty, but how they feel differently is what presents the world with a tremendous amount of diversity, because when you really think about it, if everybody felt the same way about vampires and werewolves and these love stories and shows like Nightmare Before Christmas and what have you, the thing is, the world would be a pretty boring place if everybody's favorite character was Rapunzel, because people choose Cinderella over Rapunzel, or people will choose Rapunzel over Cinderella. It's vice versa. One of my favorite Disney princesses of all time was always Belle, and then I saw Mandy Moore do such an iconic presentation of Rapunzel, and I believed in it with all of my heart. And the one person that I wanted to give a profound amount of respect to and show it to every single time that I ever recorded the video was Mandy Moore, for how she could bring this character to life. Now we're thinking about how Tegan Croft is going to do, looking ahead and turning our attention to Disney's live-action Tangle, which is up and coming. And I know a lot of people thought that Freya Sky or even Meg Donnelly, for argument's sake, would have had the chance to play that character. And I think, why not give them a chance? Why not give Kylie Control a chance to play Jasmine in Aladdin 2? I know Naomi Scott may have done a beautiful job, but when you think about a story like Aladdin or the Hercules movie, which has a lot of room or potentiality for Zendaya and Ariana Grande, why not Kylie Control? I think that if you give her those opportunities, she can really show the world how strong she is and really make a difference. Go on to make a significant impact in each and every one of our lives. Because no matter who we were, we all took something special away from whoever our favorite character was from Descendants of Zombies. And I know this to be true more than ever before. It's a fact. Because people came out to the Worlds Collide Tour because you may have been a fan of people like Kylie Control or Freya Sky, and you came out with all of your heart. And I know that in every crowd, no matter what venue you were talking about or whatever venue you were seen at, those thousands of people, because every venue had 19 to 20,000 people every night. I always believed in the philosophy of you should go big or go home. Because if you're not going to go big, what's the purpose of you being there? So I say leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour should be taking place in venues such as Madison Square Garden, because MSG is one of the most legendary arenas in the history of performances and performing arts. So because that place can host over 19 to 20,000 people, why not include it as part of the bill and part of the lineup for the Worlds Collide Tour, because it will give Clarke and Freya Sky more of a chance to be seen and heard by more people than ever before. Because as hard as it may be to believe for some people, there are people out there that have never heard of the artist Freya Sky. There are people out there that don't even know who she is, and I think they should take themselves up the opportunity to really recognize her for who she is and truly find a greater time in appreciating who she is, because she's somebody we can all draw inspiration from and always and forever take something special away from. They have forever and always held a very special place in my heart, and I've always loved to be here to have these conversations with each and every one of you, because what else am I going to do with the rest of my life? For the majority of my 25-year career, I was pretty much a co-host, which means you guys never saw or heard a whole lot of me. So I pretty much had to spend the time that I had on the radio as either a producer behind the scenes, recording and producing interviews or criteria, or I was the co-host of a show, so it never really gave me the chance to really say how I felt about somebody like Clarke and Shaw, because undeniably, I always had this passion for Disney. And I wanted more than anything else in the world to showcase that passion and let the world know how I truly felt, to resonate with more Disney fans, which eventually became Descendants and Zombies. Because I can tell you firsthand that once you win the hearts of every fan of Descendants and Zombies, you've truly got something to be grateful for, and it's an opportunity that you will never, ever forget. I've really had the time of my life, and I've had so much fun profiling Ruby and profiling Freya and profiling Kali, because I think there are more people out there that can present them with more of a chance, because when we truly come together, I know that's not the way it's going to be forever and always, but when we truly come together and say something nice about them, it gives them more incentive. It allows them to draw more inspiration and to feel stronger. And that's the one thing I've always wanted them to know, is that they are some of the strongest and highly respected people, and certainly some of the most revered of this generation. Because people will always talk about Miley Cyrus. People will always talk about Selena Gomez. But they will never give that same opportunity to people like Clarke and Shrell and Freya Sky. And I think if more of an opportunity presents itself, more of a chance can be had for them. And that's exactly what I want to see. That's exactly what I want to have happen for them, to ensure that their legacies will go down in history for being some of the greatest of all time. Because I really do believe that 20 years from now we can still be having these conversations where we're offering people more encouragement to believe in them. A favorite song, a favorite moment you may have because of these characters. I know everybody is really excited about Zombies 5. And people have forever been forecasting predictions and release windows and what that release window is going to look like. And while I wish I had the answers to these questions, all I can tell you right now that I can confirm for you in the way of an update is that Zombies 5 is happening sometime between now and 2027. And I will have more details on those when it becomes available. But I think it really, looking ahead, it really gives us a chance to believe in something so special and to be a part of something so special that should never ever be forgotten and forever and always cherished. I know that whatever becomes of me as the host of this show, because I've been around for a very long time, I will never forget the impact and the imprint that you guys have had on my heart and that you've left there. Because without you, there is no Jonathan Clarke. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. There never has been, and there never would have been, a Jonathan Clarke if you guys never hit my subscribe button. If you guys weren't here as my audience. Because I think one of the most valuable things to often appreciate that we tend to forget is that a YouTube content creator has to develop a connection and to have a relationship with his audience in terms of knowing what to create for his audience and keep on giving he or she's audience what they want. And as long as you give them what they want, they will always appreciate you for being the guy behind the content that you create. And until you understand that, your YouTube channel will never be a profound success quite like this one. Because no other Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel has had this much success or received such profound reviews. And it comes back to each and every one of you who have obviously seen something special in every video that I've ever created, and obviously taken something special away from the messages found in these videos and seen every night. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity, presenting me with this chance to be a part of each and every one of your lives, and to have represented you as the voice of Descendants of Zombies, to have become a part of the Descendants of Zombies soundtrack. It's been so fun for me, and I've loved every single moment that I've had to share my story with you, because all I ever wanted was the opportunity for my story to be both seen and heard by more people than ever before, and it happened because of each and every one of you. I got to experience something truly special that will forever and always hold a very special place in my heart, because more times often than enough, when I had nobody, I had the love and support of every fan of Descendants of Zombies, because I quickly realized that you guys were the most supportive fans. You were never, ever going to quit on me. You were always going to be here, and I will forever and always have a very special place in my heart for how much you meant to this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here, being the one and only you, and representing Descendants of Zombies with all of your heart, and having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. As I said many times, thank you so much for having watched this video. We will pick up this conversation from where we left it off bright and early tomorrow morning between 8:35 and 9:05 a.m. It's always and forever been my honor to be sitting in this chair every night with each and every one of you to talk about the power about Descendants of Zombies, that we all draw something inspirational from and take something special away every single time from, that we ever talk about these franchises. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and thank you so much as always for having watched this video.